the Women Unleashed podcast. Join us as we share with you the confronting, fun, wild, fucked up, epic, and raw side of being a woman in today's world.
Come along on our journey as we dive deeply into what makes us tick and how we create our lives. Nothing is off limits.
Welcome back, everyone, to episode 4 of the Women Unleashed podcast. You are with Taylor
And Britt.
and today we are going to continue speaking about eating disorders. And Britt has been sharing with us how it impacted her life, what it looked like. And the first episode of this 3-part series was really about how it started, what it looked like, what the triggers were. And today we're probably going to get into a little bit more about the ups and downs of it. Britt also was a bodybuilder, so we're just going to get stuck in and go through a little bit more and see what else we can discover today.
Yeah, cool. And if you at any point experience being confronted or triggered about whatever it is we say, please go seek assistance from healthcare professionals and be in communication with somebody in your life that really cares about you. We're not going to hold back. We did go into some pretty detailed topics in the last episode, so that's what we're going to do now.
Yeah, and I think it's important to show what it really looks like. You know, when you were first sharing with me, I had no idea the impacts and how much went on for you. You know, it wasn't just the eating and then the purging. There was so much more about it, the tracking and eating the types of food and all that sort of thing. So I think you're really sharing the truth of what it actually looks like for people, you know, not just what it looks like on the outside. Yeah, definitely. Cool. So as you were sharing with me just before we started, you were a bodybuilder, or you did bodybuilding. So how did, I guess, that and exercising, how did that make it worse? Did it make it better? What was the impact of bodybuilding?
Yeah. I'll share first how I arrived at bodybuilding.
Yeah, I think that's good. Let's start at the start, hey?
Yeah, because what just came to mind was I was in a long-term relationship for 3 years, and I still had this behaviour, and the person didn't know.
Oh, right. That's a big secret.
Yeah. So getting into the relationship probably alleviated a lot of it at the start.
Because you're super happy and in love and honeymoon phase, as they call it.
Yeah. And I reckon that lasted for probably a good 18 months maybe. But he also worked out in the mines. So there was significant periods where I was on my own and lived on my own and could still do that. Yeah. But I certainly got a lot more comfortable in that relationship. And then when that ended, basically I freaked out. I saw my life before my eyes and just pressed the eject button. I then was like, right, I'm single, independent, I'm going to go on a health kick. And I saw it was about the time that everybody was sort of getting on the bandwagon. You know, you'd see people popping up in your Facebook feed and going, wow, like they've had a transformation, and they're orange and they look amazing.
And they're wearing beautiful bikinis.
Yes. And that just seemed unattainable to me. So I was like, well, I'm going to go do it. So I did it. And when you prepare for a bodybuilding competition, or the ones that I prepared for, the way the people, the coaches that I had prepared me, told me how many calories I could eat per day in a macro split. So percentage of calories that had to be from protein, carbs and fat. And they also said, gave me a target of how many calories I needed to burn per week, and in a preferred high intensity versus low intensity muscle weightlifting sessions. So this, it was just like somebody gave me the golden key to looking beautiful. They were like, right, eat this, burn this, you will look amazing.
Yeah, right.
And that was one of my fears, that I just didn't look good enough.
Mm.
So I had a new level or a new shape of control over my eating, and that was being able to track everything on my FitnessPal and on my heart rate monitor, which in my first prep, which was about 12 weeks, I only had one episode of binging and purging.
Wow. Okay.
And I honestly, I was more scared of what the binging and purging would do to what I would look like on stage, rather than wanting to do the best by myself. Like, it wasn't like the lack or absence of binging and purging wasn't because I was now a nicer person to myself.
No.
It was because I was probably even harsher person to myself and going, bitch, if you eat that packet of mint slice, you're going to see that on stage.
Yeah, right.
So then I was like, okay, well, it's fine. I just have to stick within these numbers, you know, and then you get really creative at making calories like last a lot longer. Like Halo Top ice cream, that stuff, you can eat a whole, 400 ml tub, and it's like 200 or 300 calories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you kind of just, I guess from, you know, what you're sharing is that you swapped one kind of way of eating to another, which both were probably not the most healthiest or beneficial way, because I guess your end game wasn't really to be healthy, it was to look hot, which we all want to do, and we all want to be, you know, confident in ourselves, but I guess you've got to look after yourself at the same time, right?
Yeah, you do. So yeah, you just hit the nail on the head about that. Yeah. And another thought has just left my mind, so I'll hand it back over to you.
I'm sure it'll come back. So so you did the first 12 weeks, and then is there, what happens after that, and what did you, I guess after the 12 weeks, even if you didn't have a coach, were you still tracking things like to the T? Was it really super important to you still? Or once you got on stage and finished the comp, it was like back to your old ways? What kind of was like that?
Yeah. Great point, because it's now reminded me of what I was going to say, is like I still believe that doing the comp preparation taught me a lot about food and the calorific value of food.
Yeah, so it gave you some more education and knowledge around it as well.
Yeah, completely. So I had this whole new appreciation and value of like calories, you know, like avocado. It's just fat, but it tastes so good. So I ate overall, the quality of the food was better that I ate.
Eating a more healthy lifestyle.
Yeah. And that was one of the principles that they would teach in the program, was like quality in, quality out, crap in, crap out. So I wanted a reasonably quality output. After the competition, I then I wanted to keep the epic body.
How long was the prep, like, and the comp? How long did that take? How much time?
I think that, the prep was like 12 weeks. The competition was half a day.
So just one block of 12 weeks and then you competed. Right.
Yep.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify.
And I lost about 3 to 4 kilos of body fat during that time. And 12 weeks, you have a prep peak week, which is about 10 days beforehand. And then you do the comp.
Right.
And I kept tracking my food afterwards, because I was like, you know what? I might want to do another one.
Did you still have a coach at that time, or did you just
I still had a coach.
Because you have to kind of come off the peak. Don't you have to revert? Is it reverse diet?
That is if you go on like really crazy low calories, but I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just got to eat a little bit more, but it wasn't that drastic a change for me. So I kept training, kept eating, and I just loved having the control over my eating, you know. But then, there were still times where I binged and purged. Like it still happened. It just, I don't think it was as, no, it still happened. And probably like the severity of it got, or you know how I said I would binge purge, like in one sitting, because I knew the calories. So I was like, oh, right, in, out. Like,
so it kind of maybe made it a bit worse, the binging and purging, because there was like more knowledge. It was like more
control.
more control, but I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's like had more ammo. That's what I'm trying to, like, you had more ammo, you know?
Yeah, because I was like, oh, that's X many calories.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. I think you could say that. So I did that. I did a second competition, and I barely had to like do a prep for it. Because I kept in really good training, and smashed that competition. And then afterwards, I went to Europe for 6 months. I tracked a little bit whilst I was in Europe. I really didn't exercise that much. It was played on my mind a lot. And I only ended up gaining like a kilo or 2 in Europe. I certainly didn't feel as like tight and stuff in my body. But I had a really great time over there, and I still binged and purged over there. However, I did Vipassana, which is the 10-day meditation course where
amazing.
You don't speak to anyone for 10 days and you be with yourself. And I certainly had a new level of like, I want to say restraint, but it's not the right word. Like a way to be with my body or my urges and not have to act on them.
Yeah, right. So a bit more awareness around what the impacts really were of what you're doing.
Yeah, and a bit more awareness of the triggers, because I did some work with a company, an international sports company, and they would send me to places and I would stay in a hotel room on my own, and the minibar was there. I was like, I would fear the minibar when I come back. Like I'd actually wish that the hotel didn't have a minibar.
Yeah, right.
Because it would just be like there tormenting me. I'd be on my own. I wouldn't want to go to sleep. So I'd just end up eating. And I go to the lengths of like, I don't want to have to pay the hotel rate. I don't want the company to see the minibar bill because it would be like extravagant. They'd be like, how the hell does this tiny bitch eat all of that food?
Yeah, right.
So I would go out in the morning and like replace the minibar from the, convenience store down the road, just so I didn't have to pay, put it on the hotel room bill. So yeah, there's definitely some memories there.
Yeah, there's, like I said in the previous episode, it's just a lot of effort and exhaustion just to try and keep up with it on top of life in general,
No wonder why I wasn't going anywhere like that I really wanted to go.
Yeah, it would have held you back, kept you back, and I can't. It's just really eye-opening what you've been sharing with us today. So I guess maybe back to exercising and all that sort of thing. Did that? I know obviously part of your prep and everything, there is set routines and you've got to hit certain things. Did you, when you came back from Europe and these trips and you'd put on a little bit of weight, was it like a massive deal to you? Did you then get in a bigger cycle of binging and purging, and was the exercise also extreme, or did the exercise never really become over the top for you?
The exercise wasn't ever over the top. When I came back, I wanted to like build muscle, so I like ate potatoes and tofu rice and tofu because I had some weird allergy to salicylates, which is like the chemical that is naturally produced in fruit and vegetables to repel insects from them.
Oh.
So like
that makes it a bit hard.
Yeah, it was really weird. Like anything with the skin on it, I couldn't eat for ages.
Oh God.
So I ate like rice, soy sauce and tofu for weeks to try and put on like muscle, and I just ended up putting on fat. So I had a goal of a photo shoot about 6 months away, and I spoke to my coach. We got an eating plan in place, and I actually fractured my right foot at a gym class that almost healed, and then I got a stress fracture in the left foot.
Oh my God.
So I had 2 fractured feet whilst trying to lose weight and have this goal of a photo shoot, a beach photo shoot. And I just took to the pool and swam for like 3 or 4 days a week and achieved my goal that way.
Awesome. So the exercise sounds like it never became part of the control and part of the eating disorder, really. It sounds like you were pretty good with having a good relationship with exercise, or?
Oh, no. Like, I guess when I think of exercise out of control, I think of like just being in the gym twice a day for 7 days a week. But I guess it's all relative, right?
Yes.
I would certainly, if I had binged the night before, go, oh, better go to the gym in the morning. So I was never exercising from a context of this makes me feel good and this is healthy. This is healthy for me, or I do it for my mental health, like we discussed, I think, in the episode 2. It was more like, yeah, you bad girl.
Yeah, punishment.
Yeah. And what I plastered over the top of it was like, yeah, this is fun and great and look how awesome I am and competitive and
Yeah. So what sort of age are we looking at here when you finished all of that?
When I came back from Europe, I was 25.
Right. So you had 9 years of this going on already before you really...
And I started dealing with it when I was 26. Yep. So 10 years.
Right. So 10 years of just having it on and off. And obviously the triggers that came on brought it back on further. And then you had other controls coming in with your programs and your prep and all of that. And then what was the eye-opening moment where you're like, this isn't okay?
So I was in the Self-Expression and Leadership Program, which is a development program that Landmark runs. And this was the 3rd of their programs. So I had done the Forum and the Advanced course. And these programs are designed to, have you confront what doesn't work about your life.
Yes, we did them together, remember?
Yes, what doesn't work about... Yeah, sorry, this is for our audience. What doesn't work about you and who you're being and your blind spots, and to distinguish those so you can become powerful in your life. And I was that inauthentic. I was that convinced that the eating disorder, like I wouldn't even call it an eating disorder. I was just like, I do this thing. And I never told anyone about it.
No.
So I never called it an eating disorder. It took me to get to that 3rd program to go, okay, I can't avoid this anymore. Like, who I portray myself out in the world is to be this really healthy, like health conscious, fit person. And I go home and I shove food down my throat, and then I put my fingers down my throat and throw up. That's really inconsistent.
Yeah. It doesn't match, does it?
Yeah. And I just was like, wow, there's polar opposites here. And in the program, that's when I started sharing with people that was my behaviour. Yeah.
Yeah. And how did people respond? Was there concern? Did people understand? Like, what do you think the response was like for you?
Well, first of all, I'll share that I thought people were going to ridicule me and judge me because I was this other person on social media. How dare you? I thought I was going to step into a fiery pit of hatred. And people just loved me. They just cuddled me and like really was so gracious with me. Really gracious. And Taylor, you were one of those people.
Yes.
I didn't even know this was possible for humanity. That for people to be this great about what I was dealing with. Yeah. And, a couple of my parents were concerned. And then others were like, good on you, like, for just seeing this and dealing with it, and you've got it. Like, go you.
So very different responses from people in your life in the sense, but ultimately it all came out of love and concern and wanting you to be able to get through it and have a breakthrough with it. Yeah. From what I can hear from what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely. They were all committed to my life being a different way than what it had been. So, but that took a lot to get there.
I bet it's a lot of courage to share that, and to, especially when I guess for 10 years you've kind of not really dealt with the fact that it's not okay.
Yeah, I was just convinced that was part of my life. Like I got, some people get the smelly feet. I got an eating disorder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's, it's, it's hard to deal with stuff when you think it's kind of normal, or it kind of, for you, it kind of worked.
Yeah.
In your own way. It worked. But you realised it ultimately, it doesn't really work.
No, definitely not.
But I think the sharing with people is really probably what was the turning point, right?
Yeah, definitely. That is what started the journey, the cascade. And I think that's probably a perfect place to
I agree.
finish this fourth episode. We have one more where we'll talk about what the recovery looked like.
Yeah.
So, and if you had any questions about what we shared today, then just reach out or comment, leave us a review, social media, all of that. We'll put it in the show notes. And if you did experience unpleasant emotions during this episode, then please reach out to the Butterfly Foundation. They have awesome resources there, and the national helpline is 1800 33 4673. Thanks, Taylor.
Thank you, Britt. We really appreciate you sharing your knowledge and your journey with us, and look forward to our next episode.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, bye, everyone.
Bye.